Pick up that jug of laundry detergent next to your washing machine. Take a good long look at it. Feel the heavy weight of that plastic bottle in your hands. Look at the price tag printed on the shelf. $20. $25 for the big one. Now, I'm going to tell you something about what is inside that jug. It is something the multi-billion-dollar companies would rather you never think about as you carry it to your car. Let me be plain. Most of what you just carried home, most of the heavy weight in that plastic jug is nothing but water. Plain water, dyed blue, with a little soap and a strong synthetic perfume mixed in. Think about that honestly. You paid your hard-earned money to have plain water shipped in diesel trucks across the country, in a thick plastic bottle. Then you paid again for the cost of the plastic bottle itself. And you will pay again, next month and the month after that, when the blue liquid runs out and you find yourself standing in the supermarket aisle once more, reaching for another heavy jug. I live and work on a traditional farm, where we rely on our own hands, where we grow what we eat, and where we make what we can. In our household, we have never bought a single jug of that blue water. We do not need it, and we do not want it. Instead, we wash our clothes using 3 simple, raw minerals that you can buy at almost any grocery store. They do not come in fancy, brightly colored bottles with glowing labels. They do not have multi-million-dollar advertising campaigns on television. They sit quietly on the lowest shelf of the laundry aisle, down where the dust gathers, cheap and overlooked. If you know what to look for, you can buy all 3 of these plain things for about $6. And one single batch made from these ingredients will last a small family for many months. For our large household, where we wash heavy work clothes, muddy barn sheets, dusty linens, and children's play clothes every single day, just a few batches of this simple mixture are all we need to get through an entire year. It cleans everything we throw at it, and it costs literally pennies a load. Today, I'm going to give you the exact recipe. I will show you how to make it in about 20 minutes of actual work. And I will tell you honestly what it does well and what it does not. I must be honest here, because there are folks on the internet who will tell you that this homemade soap beats every commercial detergent on the shelf at every single task. They will tell you it is a miracle cure for every stain under the sun. But that is not true, and I will not tell you a thing that is not true. I am also going to reveal the one crucial trick that makes this soap work properly in hard water. This is the one secret that most folks miss, and it is the exact reason why some people try making their own soap once, get frustrated when their clothes look dull, and give up to go back to the expensive blue jug. So stay with me for that part especially. Stay with me and let us look at the truth together. Let us start with what is really inside that commercial jug, because once your eyes are open to it, you will never look at the laundry aisle the same way again. A bottle of liquid laundry detergent is mostly water. I am not exaggerating this to make a point or to sound dramatic. It is a simple fact of industrial manufacturing. The actual active cleaning agents, the surfactants that do the real work of lifting dirt from your clothes, make up only a tiny fraction of the liquid inside that bottle. The rest is nothing but filler. It is plain water used to dilute the mixture so it looks like a generous amount. It is chemical dye used to give the liquid that rich, deep blue or green color, because the manufacturers know that human psychology associates those colors with cleanliness and freshness. And then there is the fragrance, a strong, manufactured, laboratory-created smell. And here is the clever part, the part that took me a long time to fully understand. That powerful smell is doing a very specific job, but that job is not cleaning your clothes. The true job of that synthetic fragrance is to train your brain. It is designed to make your nose believe that your clothes are clean, even if the dirt is only partially gone. Think about it honestly. When you pull your warm wash out of the machine and take a deep breath, and it smells like a mountain breeze or a spring meadow, or whatever poetic name the marketing department has printed on the label, your mind instantly says, clean. But you did not actually measure the cleanliness. You did not test the fabric for microscopic dirt or bacteria. You simply smelled a perfume. And your mind has been carefully trained over years and years, through thousands of loads of wash, to hear that specific chemical smell and associate it with hygiene. But the smell is not proof of clean. The smell is a habit they have systematically trained into you, and it is the most expensive part of the bottle. Manufactured fragrance oils are highly complex chemicals, and they are not cheap to produce. When you buy that heavy jug, a large portion of your money is going directly toward paying for those perfume chemicals. You are paying to perfume water. But getting clothes actually clean is not a complicated mystery. It does not require laboratory-engineered perfumes or blue dyes. Your clothes do not care about mountain breezes. They only need 3 basic physical actions to happen in the water. First, you need something to break the grip of grease and oil so they can lift off the cotton and wool fibers. That is the job of the soap itself. Second, you need something to neutralize the heavy minerals dissolved in your tap water so those minerals do not interfere with the soap. That is the job of a water softener. Third, you need something mildly alkaline to help loosen the dirt and oils and suspend them in the water so they can be rinsed away. 3 simple things. Every single one of them is a naturally occurring mineral or a basic soap. They have been cleaning human clothes for centuries, long before anyone ever thought to put liquid detergent into a heavy plastic jug. Let us talk about these 3 things. I want you to write them down so you know exactly what to look for when you go to the store. The first ingredient is washing soda. Now, hear me. I said washing soda, not baking soda. They are close cousins and they look very similar when you open the box, but they are absolutely not the same thing. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. It is a gentle compound, mild enough that you use it to rise your bread or soothe an upset stomach. Washing soda is sodium carbonate. It has a much higher alkalinity, which means it has a stronger chemical bite. You will find it on the laundry aisle, usually in a plain yellow cardboard box. It costs about $4 or $5, and because you only use a small amount per batch, that one yellow box will last you a very long time. This is the true workhorse of the recipe. When washing soda hits the water in your machine, it raises the pH, making the wash water highly alkaline. This alkaline environment acts like a key, unlocking the bond between grease, body oils, and fabric fibers. It loosens the dirt and allows it to float free from the cloth. This is the main cleaner. The second ingredient is borax. This is another natural mineral, chemically known as sodium tetraborate. It is mined directly from the earth, from dry, ancient lake beds in the desert. You will find it on the very same laundry aisle, packaged in a classic cardboard box that costs around $4 or $5. Borax is your water softener. Now, most homes in this country have what we call hard water. This is water that contains high amounts of dissolved calcium and magnesium minerals, and hard water is the natural enemy of soap. When you try to wash clothes in hard water, those dissolved minerals immediately grab onto the soap molecules and the dirt particles. Instead of allowing the soap to dissolve and clean, the minerals turn the soap into a sticky, gray substance called soap scum. Instead of washing the dirt away, you end up rubbing that mineral scum back into the fibers of your clothes. If you have ever noticed your white shirts turning gray or your towels feeling stiff and scratchy, that is the hard water at work. Borax steps in to solve this. It binds with the calcium and magnesium ions in the water, neutralizing them before they can attack the soap. Without borax in hard water, you are essentially trying to wash your clothes in what amounts to thin, mineral-heavy mud. The third ingredient is a bar of plain, real soap. I want to emphasize the word real here. Many of the bars sold in the beauty aisle today are not actually soap at all. They are synthetic detergent bars, full of foaming agents, artificial hardeners, and heavy fragrances. You want a plain, old-fashioned bar of soap. The simpler, the better. Many folks prefer a plain Castile soap bar, which is made from pure olive oil. Others use traditional laundry bars or simple unscented bars made specifically for washing. A single bar will only cost you $1 or $2. To prepare it, you simply take a common kitchen grater, the kind you would use to grate a block of cheddar cheese, and grate the bar of soap down into fine, waxy flakes. This grated bar is your actual soap. It is the substance that physically grabs onto grease and allows the rushing water to carry it away. One single bar of grated soap contains enough active cleaning power to replace an entire heavy jug of store-bought liquid detergent. That is the entire list: washing soda, borax, and a bar of plain soap. If you buy all 3 of these items at once, you will spend maybe $12 or $13. But when you make your first batch, you will only use a fraction of each box. Most of the minerals will remain in the boxes, ready and waiting for your next batch, and the batch after that. So when you calculate the actual cost of the ingredients that go into a single 5-gallon bucket of laundry gel, it works out to about $6. And that $6 bucket represents a massive amount of clean laundry. Now, I have to stop here and be plain about safety. I believe in being honest about the materials we bring into our homes, and because these are raw minerals, we must treat them with proper respect. Washing soda and borax are powerful cleaning agents because they are highly alkaline. Because of this alkalinity, they can be dry and irritating to human skin. If you handle the dry powders bare-handed for a long time, they will strip the natural oils from your fingers, leaving them dry and cracked. And if you happen to rub your eyes while you have these powders on your fingers, they will sting badly. So, when you are measuring and mixing your ingredients, wear a simple pair of gloves. It is a small, easy step that keeps your hands protected. And here is the most important warning, especially for those of you who have curious little children or pets running around the house. Borax is a natural mineral, but it is absolutely not meant to be eaten. While it is perfectly safe when dissolved in water and rinsed out of your clothes, it is harmful if swallowed in its concentrated dry powder form. Therefore, you must treat these boxes with the same caution you would show to any commercial chemical. Keep them closed, store them up high on a secure shelf, and make sure they are completely out of reach of children and animals. Used with respect, with gloves on during the mixing process, kept safely stored away, and properly rinsed from your wash, these minerals have been used safely in households for well over a century. But you must treat them with respect. Honest is always better than careless. Let us walk through exactly how to make this soap. It takes about 20 minutes of actual hands-on work, and then you simply walk away and let time do the rest. First, take your bar of plain soap and your kitchen grater. Grate the bar down on the finest side of the grater until you have about 1 cup of fine, delicate soap flakes. As you grate, you will hear the soft, rhythmic sound of the soap sliding against the metal, and you will smell the clean, honest scent of real soap. It should look like finely grated cheese. Once your bar is completely grated, place the flakes into a medium saucepan. Add about 4 cups of hot water from your tap. Place the saucepan on your stove over low heat. Now grab a wooden spoon and begin to stir it slowly. This is a gentle process. You do not want to rush this step. As the water warms, you will see the waxy flakes begin to soften. Slowly, they will dissolve into the water. Stir it slow, watching as the mixture gradually changes. It will transition from a cloudy liquid filled with floating flakes into a smooth, consistent liquid that looks like thin milk. Make sure you do not let the mixture boil. If you let it boil, the soap will begin to foam rapidly, and you will quickly end up with a giant, bubbling mess spilling over your stove. Keep the heat low, keep your stirring steady, and let the gentle warmth do the work. This melting process will take about 10 minutes of slow stirring. While your soap is melting on the stove, take a clean 5-gallon plastic bucket. Fill that bucket about halfway with the hottest tap water you can draw from your faucet. Once the soap flakes on the stove are completely dissolved and the liquid is perfectly smooth, carefully pour the hot soap mixture directly into the bucket of water. Next, measure out exactly 1 cup of washing soda and 1 cup of borax. Pour these dry minerals slowly into the bucket. Now, take a long wooden spoon or a clean paint stirring stick and begin to stir the entire mixture slowly. Stir it for a couple of minutes, making sure the dry powders dissolve completely in the hot water. As you stir, you will feel a physical change occurring. The liquid will begin to resist your spoon slightly, thickening as the minerals and the soap begin to bond together. Once the minerals are fully dissolved, top the bucket off the rest of the way with more water. Cold water straight from the tap is perfectly fine for this step. Give the entire bucket one last thorough stir to ensure everything is evenly distributed. Now, place the lid securely on the bucket, set it in a quiet corner of your utility room or basement, and leave it overnight. This is the part of the process you cannot rush. The molecules need time to cool, realign, and form their structure. By the next morning, when you lift the lid, you will see that a quiet miracle has occurred. The thin, watery liquid will have completely set up into a soft, thick, opaque gel. It will have the exact consistency of a loose pudding. When you push a spoon into it, it will jiggle slightly. That thick gel is your finished laundry soap, an entire 5-gallon bucket of it, made for just a few dollars. To use it, simply give the gel a quick stir with your wooden spoon. It is completely natural for the gel to separate slightly as it sits over time. That is normal and does not mean you did anything wrong. Just give it a quick stir before you scoop it. When it is time to do a load of laundry, you will use about a quarter cup to a half cup of the gel per load, scooping it directly into the drum of your washing machine along with your clothes. For a smaller household, one single 5-gallon bucket will last for many, many months. And even for a larger family, a few buckets like this are all you will need to handle an entire year of laundry. Now, let us address the part that separates the folks who succeed with this method from the folks who try it once, get disappointed, and quit. It all comes down to hard water. As I mentioned earlier, the dissolved minerals in hard water are constantly fighting against your soap. Even with the borax in the recipe doing its best to soften the water, if your home has exceptionally hard water, a soap-based wash can eventually leave a faint residue behind. Over several months of continuous washing, this tiny amount of soap and mineral residue can build up on the fibers of your clothes. You might notice your white shirts starting to look slightly dull or gray. Your bath towels might lose their fluffiness and begin to feel stiff and scratchy against your skin. This gradual buildup is the #1 reason why people conclude that homemade laundry soap does not work. They assume the recipe is a failure and run back to the supermarket to buy that expensive blue water. But there is a simple, foolproof fix, and it costs almost nothing. The secret is plain white vinegar. Just buy a cheap gallon of white vinegar from the grocery store. When you do a load of wash, pour about a half cup of white vinegar directly into the fabric softener compartment of your washing machine, or simply add it manually when the machine reaches its final rinse cycle. White vinegar is a very mild, natural acid. When it enters the rinse cycle, it instantly cuts through any microscopic mineral deposits or soap molecules that are clinging to the fabric fibers. It neutralizes the alkalinity and rinses everything clean away into the drain. The result is clothes that come out of the machine feeling incredibly soft, fresh, and completely free of residue. In fact, white vinegar is the only fabric softener we have ever used in our home. And no, your clothes will not come out smelling like a salad dressing. The vinegar scent is highly volatile. As the clothes dry, whether on a line in the fresh air or in a machine, the vinegar smell evaporates completely, leaving behind nothing but the clean, neutral scent of the fabric itself. That half cup of vinegar in the rinse cycle is the entire difference between a homemade soap that feels like a failure and a homemade soap that feels like a triumph. It is the exact same soap. The vinegar is simply the key that unlocks its full potential. But let me be plain and strong about what this soap does well and what it does not. I am not here to oversell this recipe or pretend it is a magical solution that solves every laundry problem with no effort. What this soap does exceptionally well is handle everyday dirt. It easily cleans sweat, body oils, dust, mud, and the ordinary grime that comes from regular living and honest work. For 90% of the laundry that any normal family produces, this simple gel will leave your clothes clean, fresh, and spotless for a fraction of the cost of commercial detergents. Furthermore, because this recipe contains absolutely no synthetic dyes and no artificial perfumes, it is incredibly gentle on human skin. If you have a child who suffers from eczema or rashes, or if anyone in your household is sensitive to the overwhelming perfumes found in commercial detergents, this plain soap is often a massive relief. But here is what it does not do as well: tough, set-in stains and heavy industrial grease. Commercial detergents are formulated in high-tech laboratories. They contain synthetic enzymes designed specifically to target and chemically break down stubborn organic stains like grass, blood, red wine, and baby messes. This simple homemade mineral soap does not contain those laboratory enzymes. And I am not going to pretend that it does. If you have a garment with a severe, stubborn stain, you must treat that stain directly before it goes into the wash. Rub a small dab of the concentrated soap gel directly onto the spot. Let it soak for a bit and scrub it gently before washing as usual. And now I must give you a very important warning regarding modern washing machines. Many of you today use modern, high-efficiency, front-loading washing machines. These HE machines are engineered very differently from the traditional top-loading machines of the past. They use an extremely small amount of water to wash and rinse your clothes. This homemade soap gel is naturally low sudsing, which is generally good for HE machines since they cannot handle excess foam. However, you must use extreme caution. Because HE machines use so little water, they rely on highly soluble synthetic detergents that rinse away with almost no water. Real soap, which is made from natural fats and oils, does not dissolve as easily in tiny amounts of water. If you use this homemade soap in a modern HE machine, there is a real risk that over time, the natural fats from the soap will begin to coat the outer drum and the internal plumbing of your machine. This can lead to a buildup of waxy soap scum inside the machine, which can trap moisture, cause mold, and eventually lead to unpleasant odors or mechanical issues. Additionally, using non-approved homemade soap mixtures can void the manufacturer's warranty on an expensive modern machine. So, if you own a high-efficiency front loader, I must advise you to check your machine's manual carefully. If you choose to use this soap in an HE machine, use only a very small amount, no more than 1 or 2 tablespoons per load, and understand the risks involved. For traditional high-water top-loading machines, this soap is absolutely perfect. But for modern HE machines, you must decide if the savings are worth the potential wear on your appliance. I would rather tell you the plain truth than have you damage an expensive machine on my recommendation. Now, let us take a step back and think about the bigger picture. Think about who truly profits from that heavy jug of blue water sitting on the supermarket shelf. The massive consumer goods corporations profit, of course, but look closely at how they do it. They sell you a product that is mostly plain water, dyed blue, with a tiny amount of active ingredients, at a price that has absolutely nothing to do with the actual cost of the raw materials inside. The blue dye costs them virtually nothing. The synthetic fragrance is the most expensive part of the formula, and it does absolutely no physical cleaning whatsoever. Its only purpose is to train your sense of smell so that you become dependent on that specific scent. And the true genius of their business model is that the jug runs out. Every few weeks, the plastic bottle is empty and you are forced to drive back to the store, walk down the aisle, and lift another heavy jug into your cart. You are locked into a perpetual loop of buying and rebuying. A product that a consumer is forced to purchase over and over again for the rest of their life is an incredibly profitable business model for them. It is a terrible deal for your wallet, but a gold mine for them. And the scent is the hook that keeps the entire wheel turning. They have spent decades and billions of dollars on advertising to convince an entire nation that clean has a specific chemical floral smell. They have trained people to believe that if clothes simply have no dirt and no odor, they are somehow not clean enough. Your own nose has been turned into a salesman working for their marketing department. But that is not chemistry. That is psychology. It is a manufactured habit, sold to you and paid for by you every single month of your life. There is no giant corporation that can profit from a plain box of washing soda, a plain box of borax, and a simple bar of soap. No company can build a multi-million-dollar television ad campaign around raw minerals that sit on the lowest shelf of the grocery store. They cannot sell you a new bottle every month because those raw boxes last for a very long time, and you mix the water in yourself at home for free. That is the real reason you were never told about this simple recipe. It is not because it does not work. It has worked beautifully in homes for over a century. They did not tell you because there is simply no money in teaching a person how to clean their clothes for $6 a year, when they would much rather sell them $300 worth of blue water instead. We make our own laundry soap because we believe in self-reliance. We believe that a family that can take care of its own basic needs, a family that can wash its own clothes for pennies using 3 simple raw minerals from the lowest shelf, is a family that is truly free. It is a family that does not need to rely on a heavy plastic jug from a giant corporation. Clean is not a perfume you buy. Clean is simply the absence of dirt. So next time you are at the store, I encourage you to make a different choice. Walk past the rows of brightly colored plastic jugs. Look down at the very bottom shelf. Find those plain, dusty boxes of washing soda and borax. Grab a simple bar of real soap and take them home. Take back control of your budget and your home. If you have an old recipe passed down from your grandmother or a traditional way your family used to handle these everyday chores, think of it as a bridge to a simpler, more honest time. The old ways of doing things, the practical wisdom of the generations that came before us, are treasures that we must not lose in our rush toward modern convenience. And in our next lesson, I want to take this journey of self-reliance one step further. I will show you how to make the actual bar soap itself from scratch using simple fats and lye, the traditional way. Once you know how to do that, you will never have to buy a single bar of soap again. Until then,
Walk past the blue water, rely on your own two hands, and remember that the people who built our communities knew secrets of self-reliance that we are only just beginning to remember.